Well, hi folks, and welcome to another one of our super exciting student interviews. We've got an amazing couple who have achieved some incredible results in a really, really short space of time since they've been with NPE, and we're going to hear about their story today. So, Sam and Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Who are you? Where are you from? What's your business model? And then what sort of clients do you love serving?
So we're from Melbourne, Victoria. We're based in Mordialloc. We've been in the industry for a combined around 15, 16 years.
Yeah, so between Sam and I, we have been in the industry for about 15 years. For myself, I was sort of full-time PT, sole trader for a good 6 years before I went on a bit of a hiatus and took a break from it.
Right.
And then Sam and I were sort of a little bit unhappy in our full-time roles outside, and we were always doing this as a hobby, and we sort of took a leap and jumped in the deep end and went to take this on full-time, and yeah, so far so good.
Oh, it's awesome. Well, I've got a bunch more questions to ask you. Now, you are Sam and Aaron Shedlock. You are married as well, so there'll be quite a few people who are in business with their partners, their spouses, whatever, who are going to be really interested to hear how you guys manage that side of things, because that's pretty challenging. But tell us a little bit about your business model. So is it really, obviously I know, but to the folks at home, what is it that you do?
So we're a group training facility. So our main market is group fitness. So with my background in sports science and Sam's personal skills, our model is heavily based around a strength training system. We periodise progression. We really focus on transformations and just empowering people to be better versions of themselves.
Gotcha. And who's the ideal client for Shedlock Training Systems? Who is it that you love serving?
Me again?
Yeah.
Okay, me again. All right. So our base or our main market of clientele is the female or that female population. So those mums and ladies who are struggling on the outside and just want an escape, or just want to be better versions of themselves, I guess. It's their 45 minutes to an hour of power where they can just come in and be them.
Right, because they've been putting themselves a long way down that priority list for a number of years, and they get to be number one for at least an hour.
Exactly. They're being looked after. They're not the ones doing all the looking after.
Right. Well, it's amazing that the community that you've been able to develop with that as well, which we'll talk a little bit more as we go on here as well. So you guys are in Mordialloc in Victoria, in Australia. Now you haven't been in business for a very long time. So let's just talk about where you were before we started working together between yourselves and NPE, which is really only going back to April of this year. So we're only talking of last year. So we're talking sort of 9-10 months here. So where were you then? What did your business model look like? What sort of revenue were you generating, and where were the challenges or struggles?
So we were working out of a 24-hour gym back then. We'd only recently made the decision to give this a crack full-time at the beginning of that year. So both of us just left our full-time jobs and really wanted to make this a career. So we were working out of a 24-hour gym. We had a small base. We were only generating around 4 to 5 grand a week, a month. We weren't really happy under the roof of that. Like, we could only do so much under the roof there. We were struggling to advertise. We weren't allowed to advertise to anyone at the gym. And then I think we put it in place that we wanted to move out in our own facility, and that was September last year. So yeah, now here we are 7 months later.
And it has been a whirlwind since that as well. And you guys have certainly embodied one of our success principles, which is to have courage and practice courage and have faith. And you've certainly done that. So let's just go back a little step further. It's only really just over a year ago that you guys started to jump into this full time. You were working in a 24-hour gym, which really wasn't matching your core values or what you were wanting to do and how you wanted to train people. You couldn't advertise in there, and you were making $4,000 to $5,000 a month, which isn't going to make anyone happy with the cost of living in Victoria or pretty much anywhere else in Australia. So that's where you were then, and obviously some challenges around your avatar, as you mentioned. Who are you really trying to serve? Tell us a little bit about that shift. You've moved into your own facility, which is huge, and where are you at now? Tell us what it looks like in Sherlock Training Systems today.
Well, we used all the NPE tools before we opened, and ended up opening with just under 100 members, which was amazing, using the foundation tools, and then we had a huge grand opening, which was amazing. So that was in October last year, or November. October.
Yeah, October.
Now we're sitting at around a comfortable 120 members. Hoping to hit the 200 mark by the end of the year, but our model has definitely changed a lot.
It's evolving as we evolve as a business or as a company. We still like that group fitness model, but we're starting to evolve into a more of a personalized and individualized model as well, where we're trying to combine a personal training element in that group fitness scenario.
Gotcha. Okay. So so because everyone needs to sort of get this timeline. So around that time, March, April 2018, you went full time, both of you, into the industry and into running your own business. You then left the 24/7 in October and launched your own facility. Took on the lease and all of the challenges that go along with that. And now, sort of 4.5, 5 months later, you're sitting at 120 members. And what's your revenue like? Knowing that you were $4,000 to $5,000 a month back then, what's the revenue like now?
So April we were sitting at 4,000 to 5,000. I think within a couple of months we hit that 10 grand mark, which was great. But last January we hit 30,000, which was our goal, which was our quarterly goal for this year. So we were hoping to hit that by March. So we hit that in January. So, which is good. And yeah, we also brought Josh on, or we also brought a full-timer on as well, which was a massive step for us, because it took off a lot of load from both of us, but mainly myself, in terms of the training and directing department there. Now Sam and I are able to work on the business more than we work inside the business, which is I think being one of the biggest steps for us. Not so much the revenue is great and the money's awesome, that's but that's a product of the work that Sam and I have been putting into this company, and for us to be able to step back and really admire and enjoy what's going on, that's probably the biggest bonus, especially with working with you guys. That's been the biggest step for us.
Yeah, and I know you just had the weekend off and you went to an almost internet-free location, which has its own challenges, but great to see you guys having some time in the sun there. You mentioned you brought on Josh into a full-time position, and you've got another part-timer as well there. Let's just go back a step for a second. You'd already tried working with other business coaching companies previous to NPE as well. What's been the biggest difference for you? Because you tried someone else and then you actually took another leap of faith, even though that hadn't worked well for you, and tried NPE. What's been the major difference between the two?
NPE has been very personable. They've
listened to us.
They've listened and they've worked with us. They've not where in our previous business coaching forum we were sort of given direction on what to do.
But it was more, this is our model. Let's everyone follow this model because we know it works. It wasn't, hey, what's your model? Let's work with your model and make it work. It was do it our way. Yeah. So that's been the biggest difference.
Yeah, and it's sort of a big area of belief of ours as well. Like at the end of the day, we're not the ones who are going to give you the results. We just plan out. We just put the steps in front of you for you to take for you to achieve the results, and that's exactly how we've felt with NPE. You guys haven't told us what to do or how we should do it. You've just directed us in the right direction for us to be able to achieve what we've achieved right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys have certainly done the hard yards and are now starting to reap the benefits. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing, hasn't it? There's some challenges and you're going through some change and some growth, which is uncomfortable and creates more challenges. What do you think has been the biggest challenges over the last sort of 9-10 months?
For me, it'd be more financially, more financial security, I guess. Like we did take a massive hit from our full-time jobs. We were both on
good packages,
really good packages. But we made the decision that our happiness was worth than that. But like most people, that is definitely a challenge in itself. I guess trusting employees to come into the business, that's a massive one. It's been our little baby, so you don't really want to have people to come in and
stuff it up.
But that would be the biggest two for me.
For me, I think it's just been time and pressure. Like Sam and I have our roles. We sort of fill the gaps of each other. My role is to develop the standards that we are willing to set inside the gym from a training perspective, but also for myself to develop these guys, our three trainers, to be sort of the pinnacle of trainers within our area, and that's been the biggest challenge for me. The pressure of being able to do that. And Rick, you tasted it firsthand last week on what happens when I crack the shits. That's sort of been the biggest challenge for me. And having that time away last weekend was awesome because I was able to reflect on the positives of our business and how far we've actually come, and not so much worry so much about all the crap that I have to do, because that's gonna develop at the end of the day.
And in such a short amount of time, like it's only literally been 7 months, 2 days ago that we opened the business. So we have to kind of,
so it was good for me to just sit back and actually appreciate that our guys are doing a really good job, and it's a testament of all of us and the work that we're putting in.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes we're always looking forward, aren't we, as business owners, and we very rarely stop and smell the roses and reflect, as you said. So I'm thrilled that you guys have been able to do that, because it is incredible what you've done. To think that, it was only a few months back, as you said, Sam, 7 months ago you launched, and it was only 9-10 months ago that we were talking about, well, how do we just get more clients? And implementing, effective sales systems, which you guys didn't have at that stage, and then the marketing pieces as well. And it's been amazing watching your growth and development from trainers to now be business owners. And I think, as you mentioned earlier, Aaron, bringing Josh on board, because he was full-time in another role, and again, like you guys, earning good money in that role as well, but he wanted to follow his passion, and you did it the right way by grooming him into that role, and now he's there and performing really well, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's doing a really good job.
Yeah, exceptional.
Yeah, it's awesome, and having the systems in place to be able to find, hire, train, and manage too is exciting for him to be able to move forward. Which is, it's really awesome. What I love about your story, to be honest, is that you've done the things, even though at times you thought, and let's be honest, there's been times when you thought, I don't know that this is going to work, and that's happened more than once. But you followed the instructions and you did it anyway, and you've had some pretty remarkable results from that. You talked about the founders campaign that you introduced before you opened the doors, and how that brought in a lot of people as well. And those 100 people you've mentioned, most of them are on direct debits, aren't they? So that you've got a predictable income for the months ahead.
Everyone is on direct debits. Yeah.
Awesome. So they got that recurring revenue. So what would you say have been the lessons that you've learned during this time? I mean, what are the biggest sort of takeaways for you guys? And it's only been a short while that we've been working with you, 10 months or so. But what are the biggest lessons that you've learned during that time?
Trust the process, I guess. The steps that you guys actually put in place, even if we look at it and be like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work, it actually has worked. Especially, probably the biggest one has been the 12 days of Christmas for us. We did not think that was going to work at all, and we ended up generating
12, 15,000, somewhere around there, 15,000.
15,000 or something around that.
Yeah.
So that was massive for us.
And that was probably the stepping stone for us to actually see, oh shit, like, because it was a lot of our high end packages on that 12 days of Christmas that really sold, and that was probably the stepping stone for us to see, wow, we are a personal model. Like, this is something that we can really develop more of. And that's where the real evolution of Sherlock training came from.
And that's that shift, as you mentioned. You were primarily group training, but now you've recognised that there's a big opportunity and a big market for that more personalised training, which obviously is a much higher price and a higher return, because you can't run group training sessions from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. on the hour every hour. There's not enough availability, but you can certainly do that with personal training and a combination of group.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. What is the vision for the future for you guys? You've only been essentially doing this for a very short space of time. What are the sort of short and medium term goals for you?
I guess our recurring revenue, we want to be hitting 30 to 35,000, like, ongoing.
Every month?
Every month, yeah. That would be a big one. Eventually, we want to bring Ollie on.
Yeah, Ollie on sort of permanent
part-time, and then hopefully build to where we could have him there full-time as well. He's doing a really good job. He's really stepped up, which is awesome. They're our short-term goals, I guess. Medium to long-term, well, by the end of the year, we want to be 180 to 200 members.
Yeah.
Depending, if we can get this model working the way we do, I think we'll be in a very good position.
Gotcha.
So I'm happy. I want sort of that $45,000 to $50,000 in recurring revenue a month.
That's the long-term goals.
Nah, next week.
See, we've swapped positions. That was me, like, at the start.
No, I've looked at the metrics and looked at our packaging and our pricing and sort of compared it around with everyone else in sort of our close vicinity or area. And we're more than competitive and I'm a massive believer that we are as good, if not better, in terms of helping anybody achieve results for our pricing, packaging, yeah, I've looked at the metrics, and with the numbers that we want to hit in terms of clientele and average client value, I'm more than confident that we can hit that recurring revenue monthly. In terms of long term, we definitely need a bigger facility.
We outgrew that in 6 months.
Yeah.
But we'll make do with.
We'll make do. We've still got 2.5 years on the lease. So.
Which is a good problem to have, but yeah.
Well, we can talk about that in our group coaching calls as well, about what to do in the next step, because you don't necessarily have to move from that one. You might keep that one doing its thing and then move into another, but we'll certainly discuss that in a group when we're getting to that time. You mentioned, Ollie, I just wanted to sort of pause for a second here. Now, you mentioned something earlier which I think was really powerful, Sam, that one of your biggest challenges was bringing people in, because it is your baby, and the two of you have worked really hard to create the atmosphere and the community that you want in the facility. And bringing people on can be really terrifying, and I know there's a whole bunch of people who are going to be listening to this thinking, yeah, staff, it's a nightmare, because they leave, or they're not performing, or they holding me to ransom, or whatever else it might be. And you mentioned bringing Josh on it, which has been great, but Ollie wasn't always a top performer, was he? There was some times there where you had to have some honest discussions with Ollie, and I know we spoke about this a lot on our calls as well, how to structure those conversations, how to give him an opportunity to step up. Tell us a little bit like that, and a little bit about that, I should say, and your development as business owners from a people management standpoint.
Well, I guess, yeah, he wasn't performing. He's young. We didn't know where he was at with, I don't know, himself and life, I guess. We didn't know if this is what he wanted to do long term. But after quite a few discussions with Aaron, he's opened up, and he said to me the other day that this is what he wants to do.
I remember being his age and coming out of my exercise sports science undergrad and not having a clue what I wanted to do or where I wanted to be or the type of person I wanted to be at that age. And I wish at that age I had somebody like, I don't want to
like
say this.
Aaron.
I don't want to say this in Aaron or pump my own tires, but I am. No, I'm joking. Like I wish I had a mentor or somebody like myself to sort of give me that guidance or help me or direct me in the direction I wanted to go. And so that's what I felt I needed to do from his perspective. Like if he wanted to go down that elite development line, I was more than happy to progress him down towards that line. But yeah, he grew and grew and grew. And I know this is going to be a big statement, but I think he's going to be our best personal trainer, if not better than myself.
Maybe not the business side or like people side where Josh is like amazing at that, but Ollie will definitely be.
He
a really
whatever challenge I give him when it comes to research, development, execution, anything like that, he will do it without second guessing or questioning me, and he will come back and recite everything about it. It's incredible. Like he has a passion for learning, and he also has a passion for development. So I think he's going to be a really massive asset to us.
And I think it helps that Aaron's invested a lot of time in what he was talking about earlier about training us so we're all on the same level. But he like really just soaks up everything, and I think that's really made him maybe know where he is and where he wants to be. So he's liking it a lot more, and yeah, so it's good.
It is awesome, and we talk about business owners getting to that they limit their growth because they haven't developed themselves as leaders and as by being able to empower the team. And it was interesting because you had a point there, and I remember it really clearly, where you're almost going to let Ollie go. But I think what's amazing, what I love, is that not only are you helping the Mordialloc community to be able to grow and develop. And I know you've branched off into the footy and the netball club. You've got a great relationship that's building there. You've got another one with an international hotel that you're looking to cement too, and all these other opportunities that because you've done the work around them. But one of the best things that I see is developing yourselves as leaders so that you've empowered the Joshes of the world to leave a job that he wasn't loving. Even though it was good money, he wasn't loving it. And now he's doing what he loves, and really allowing that development and that empowerment of the Ollies of the world as well. And it'd be great to see that the Shedlock staffing factory continue to produce these great coaches. And as you said, Aaron, he's arguably going to be better than you, so he's going to be able to help the community even more. That's really powerful. So well done to both of you on that work on yourselves as well, and looking at it from an emotional standpoint, because sometimes it's easy to make quick decisions and not give people the opportunity or the direction that they need, right? Not being able to challenge them effectively. It's we blow up, the relationship ends, and then we go on the staffing merry-go-round again, and we just repeat that. So it's really impressive. So well done to you both. It's awesome stuff. And I know there'll be people with their teams at the moment going, yeah, well, how do I get my team to step up? So maybe they can reach out and have a chat to you guys and see how you challenged Ollie on that, and how you've provided that, because it's awesome. Well, that's brilliant. Well, look, we are coming to the end of our time here, but I wanted to ask you, having had experience with other business coaching companies and now working with us here in NPE, what's your advice for others who are maybe in a similar position? Maybe they're working at a 24/7, just sort of renting space or subcontracting, and they're wanting to get into their own facility, or for those who are already in their facility and have got headaches over staff. What would your advice be to those listening?
Be humble. Take on the advice of others. And by nature we're trainers, but that doesn't mean we can't be trained ourselves. So I think you got to be humble and really listen to people who have developed their businesses already. Like, sorry. You guys have been in the position that we dream or want to be in. So why not take the advice from those people first and then go down that line?
And then I think, I just remember it the other day when Aaron first spoke to Andre on the phone, and he's like, oh my God, this guy's he actually listened and looked at our model and gave us advice on a free call, gave us more advice on that free call than we got from our previous business coach. That's amazing. So yeah, it's been awesome. So credit to NPE.
Well, it's a symbiotic relationship, as my 9-year-old will say these days, because you guys have certainly put in the hard work. You've challenged yourselves, which is awesome. And there's times when you've questioned things, but you've faced your fears and done it anyway. And that's why you're in the position that you're in now. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen with Shedlock Training Systems over the next really 6 to 12 months, because what you've achieved in the last 6 to 12 months has been pretty, we haven't even been working together for 12 months yet. So it's going to be very exciting. But look, I really appreciate your time today and being so honest and humble as well, as you said, Aaron, because there'll be a lot of people who really benefit from hearing this, because they're struggling and don't know what to do. So thanks to both of you for your time, and we can't wait to see your results in the next 12 months.
Thank you.
All right. Good on you guys. Oh, and just one last thing before we go. I know we didn't get him in the shot here, but you do have a baby, don't you? It's not just your business, and your baby being your dog Boss.
Fur baby, yes.
A fur baby, yes. Well, he's not on the screen, but I'm sure we can get a photo of Boss there. He'd probably his head would take over the whole shot, wouldn't it?
I'll send you a photo.
There you go. Good on you. All right, guys. Well, great to see you had a weekend away. Let's plan more of that as you build and develop so that you're rewarding yourselves. But thanks so much for today. Really appreciate it, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye for now.